Welcome, 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 people of life, light, and the dark. Welcome. Today it's going to be pretty much an open panel, so you're welcome to come up in the discussion. I have a lot to talk about, but the main thing is that it's not just darkness itself, it's what lurks in the dark. You see, when a group of people who fear a black planet got together and decided how to defeat their threat, they understood how to manipulate and change things, change our reality basically, and make us see ourselves as something terrifying, something not good, with no goodness in us. And also going about um, conflicting us as a people. So, in this segment, we're going to talk about how our reality has been changed. Not only that, but how they're currently working on changing our reality every day. And a lot of things that we know for a fact have happened, they tend to play these tricks where um, they kind of sort of change our history in a way, or try to get us to do that. Try to get us to do that. And a lot of times, um, that is something that is, we can't even really see it with our own eyes, but it's like a psychological, more like a psychological thing that gets us to do our own, the biddings, their biddings against us. Where we become our own worst enemies. And like I said, most of this is done psychologically, so it's basically in the unseen place where most of the stuff is done. The other day I talked about COVID-19 and the babies, and you know, that is definitely something that I think that when we get, as a Black community, we get out of thinking that we have to have births at the hospitals, and that and start thinking about taking care of ourselves. So when we do plan to bring these families in, that we can think of alternative ways of having our babies. Because I'm not for the way things are going. As far as, because there's been babies lately that have been said been born with COVID-19, and I don't know. I don't know how I think about that, because, and I don't know um, that if you're a woman that doesn't go out of the house much, that you may not work, so you're not around people. I know a lot of businesses have closed since COVID-19, so I'm trying to figure out how do people contract this other than being around people. And if you're not around people like that, um how does it happen? you know um I don't know. I've been around people, but I still haven't had the issues of, contracting anything, or anybody around me in my family contracting any COVID-19. But I am concerned for babies out there, and mothers, people in our community who have planned to be parents. And COVID-19 has come along and been a tricky thing. So I just, always want our people to take precautions, think ahead, plan. I know I wanted to have my baby at home, but like I told my doctor, I was trying to hold it out the last minute, see if I can have it at home. I think I could have had it at home, but I had already made provisions for me to be in a very quiet. I researched and found a nice place for myself to be, where I could have a successful and a safe delivery. So I'm just saying to our people, these are trying times. We're not for sure. We don't want, COVID-19 stuck on our children and not be COVID-19. We don't want, uh, we just don't want no issues with this. So to prevent it, think ahead. If you're planning on having a baby, um, think around ways that you can do it safely without dealing with the medical or um, just natural. That's my thought if you're desperate to start a family. And hey, welcome, DOD.
Hey, how's
Well,
it going like there?
I'm doing great, doing great. Thank you for coming.
No
Yeah.
problem, no problem.
Yeah.
The phone was in one room and I was sleeping in
Mhm.
another, so that's why
Um,
I didn't hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
I
You don't
needed to
want to,
rest.
yeah, that phone needed to be away for a while. Yeah. Get away from all that, the little dangers of the EMF that's coming out from the phone, dealing with it every day, So
I still didn't receive that other call.
I know,
So,
right?
but I'm still
Okay.
waiting. But
Yeah. I'll talk to her and find out what's going on. But yeah, welcome. Tonight we're talking about it's not the darkness, it's what's lurking in the darkness. But we're not only going to talk about that, we're going to talk about the tricky hands of the op- opposition and how they go about doing things. And that there's nothing new under the sun. So it's the same old game. We shouldn't be surprised by nothing. We should by now be, um, versed in what they do, and then and that we should be able to put all the stops forward to everything they try to do against us at this point. And unfortunately, they got us from that division. We have a lot of divisions. We have a lot of different. They got us on these different ideologies. They have us on a lot of different things that have divided us up because that's how their minds work. It's always have to be something. But if we want to talk about politics real quick, which is something I wanted to talk about deeply today, because I know our people are conflicted, and the way I say is stay out of it. I say stay out of it for the simple fact is whatever we're very powerful people, so we don't we haven't recognized yet that whatever we give our attention to or we put our whole self into, we give power to that. We give power to that. Whatever we're focused on. And so I would say we should focus on things that benefit us more. And you know, and it's as the ones who are the god and goddesses, in ways there are ways that we control that. We control what we want to see going forward, what we want to see happen. So therefore, since we do that, we may want to, like I said, just work on those things. But it's, because like I said, I stay out of voting because I know that either way, it does not harm us and it doesn't help us. It doesn't harm us and it doesn't help us at the same time. And you have something like that, you have to look at it like, even though things are meant to harm us, we have to take the precautions ourselves to make things work in our own favor. That's the way I feel about it. You got anything to say on that, DOD?
No, I understand where you're coming from on that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to participate in their system at all.
Mm-hmm.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and then I wanted to do this. I wanted to look at this video with Joe Biden and make a comment upon what he had said. Let me. Where's my thing at? Is that it?
That's it.
That is it.
Yep.
Okay, educational purpose. Okay. All
You
right.
didn't believe me?
Huh?
You didn't believe me, huh?
Didn't believe you what?
When I said that's it.
No, I
You had a
couldn't
little
see it.
scroll a little bit so you can read it.
Yeah, I couldn't see it. Yeah, I couldn't see it. I thought I had the wrong one. But let me share this screen. Okay. Okay. I think that's it.
No. Are you going to re-engage with Cuba, though? I mean, I'm specifically wondering about, the Florida communities that are, incredibly interested in the Cuba issue, and see status given to Venezuelans while Cubans are being deported.
The answer is yes. I'm going to engage.
Oops, I'm sorry about that.
Yes. Yes, and by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
They're really showing themselves to do really well. Come on, man.
All right. Oops, sorry about that. So that was Joe Biden on what he was saying about the Black community.
And what did he say?
He was saying that we're pretty much just, I guess, monolithic. That we're all the same, that we're not diverse, that we're not, he was comparing us to,
the Latinos?
Yes. But I know what he was going at with that. And like I said, our people really need to stay out of that. If people, the whole thing is racists can't hurt us and racists can't help us. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how come you haven't pulled up any videos about Trump? And what he thinks? Why haven't you pulled up any videos about Trump and what he thinks about the Black?
Because I haven't pulled up no video on Trump, because Trump, we know how Trump is, and he's already in office. You see what I'm saying? So we already know what he thinks about us. So I didn't vote for him. And, he doesn't harm my life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's not a threat to me whatsoever. I used to think that way about, I was in the military. I had to be in the military when George Bush, and I couldn't stand the man. I couldn't stand him when he was in office. I was like, how am I going to make it through serving this country with this? And I made it through, though, because he didn't affect my life. Only thing they did affect was when I was around them, when I had to be around them. And when I had to be around them, they were racist. So, but that's to be expected of him, Dick Cheney. That was to be expected of them too. So other than that,
would you today advise anybody to go into the military?
No,
A black person?
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't advise. No, I don't. Not at all. No.
And the reason being?
Because it's disingenuous of this country and how they treat us as people. We're not. It's just. It's horrible. It's horrible living a fake life. It's horrible living living in a lie. You know what I'm saying? And
in other words, putting your life on the line for a country that doesn't care anything about you.
Oh yes, they don't care anything about you. It's very, very it's very, very tough pill to swallow once you can see what it really is all about. You know what I'm saying? And it's just knowing everything I know now. No, I can't advise. I can't give somebody that advice. No, I can't. To go. No, I would say no. I would highly speak against it. You know what I'm saying? So, you have to be brainwashed to go. You have to really be brainwashed. I was really brainwashed. So. Yeah, but I want to also talk about some good things that have happened this year. Not only this year, but throughout Trump's presidency for Black people. Some Black people, some of us have recognized the power that we hold and have taken our own destiny in our own hands. And I like to acknowledge that because there's a lot of Black people out there that have found financial freedom. There's a lot of Black people out there who have found who have been successfully making their own way in life through business opportunities they've found for themselves. And things, this 4 years so thus far has been great for a lot of Black folks, I would say. And we can't always just be in the doom and gloom of things. We also got to look on the bright side, how a lot of our people have awakened to see that we have a lot more than we've been told over the years that we have. We have a lot. We don't have to be dependent upon, somebody giving us a job, And a lot of things have turned out great for a lot of Black folks. And I just wanted to pay attention to that and, lift that up because it's more of us. It's more to come. It's more to come. More people coming out of, where we used to be and going into a better place. You see what I'm saying? Because we can't get no worse than where we come from. Things can only get better. So that's something I just wanted to put out, because a lot of us are making it happen and we're making more, doing better than we ever would have done working for somebody else. You see what I'm saying?
Well, it's always better to be the owner than the employees. Yeah. I agree on
and
that.
We've been for decades and decades, we've been told, get a good job, just get a good job, But a lot of our people out here doing the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to you out there that found your freedom, true freedom, and making it happen for yourself. You know,
but
and
is that true freedom though? But you're still working under that system.
Well, true freedom is when we recognize that we are the ones that make it happen. And once you realize that for yourself and get out of that mind frame of thinking that these others have some sort of control, which they don't, then that to me is freedom. It's just, and then understanding the magic that you have when things stand in your pathway, you can move them out of the way. You know what I'm saying? So, and you control it all, you know. And it's no longer this God or Jesus or this glass ceiling over your head. You know what I'm saying?
And that's where the true freedom comes in.
Yes. No glass ceiling, no God, no Jesus, no judge, no one outside you have the power like we think, you know. And it's half the battle is knowing what's lurking for you in that darkness, because it's not the darkness itself. The darkness is pretty much on your side. It's what lurks in there. And a lot of times it's one of these, I forgot what they used to call it. What she said, it was, basically these people who are basically the imbalance. Okay, that's what I call them, the imbalance group is usually the ones that are lurking in the dark for you. Like I talked about that young lady from Africa, and about how sometimes we think heaven is in our minds, and we know that we got heaven in our minds, but guess what? There's a wicked world awaiting you outside. And a lot of times people that are not from this country tend to think this because of what they call it, with the news and stuff, we just propaganda. They believe the propaganda of the white man and the white woman. They start to believe that they are safe people to be around, and that they are harmless people, and then they fear the black people. They always been warned about the black folks, like the black folks are dangerous or scary or whatever, but the white folks you can trust, right? So like I said about the young girl, let me see if I can find that news about her.
Now, where is she from?
She was from, I think, a place in Africa. Let me see. I talked about it before. I talked about the news before. But let me share it again, because I don't think you were on that live stream that day when I shared about her. And I talked about my nephew who also was killed from being around the whatever you call them, Mazungas. Okay. See, she was 20 years old, and her family was okay with her living with the white male roommate. 20-year-old Texas woman found hanging in garage of white roommate, they said. But it was a guy. So you can imagine who hunger, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But yet we think too much that heaven inside is also outside of us. But that's not true. That's not no truth in that. It's pretty much an imbalance, you know. Pretty much an imbalance. Let me mark this out. So we have to beware of the tricky hand. They play it. They play the same. Like I said, they do the same things over and over again, and we should be well aware of how to play it and take, but be sick and tired at the same time and take back our powers. You agree with that? You want to say anything on that?
I mean, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. This thing. Okay. So I said, basically, you know, psychology, they play on the mind by projecting upon the masses. How do you know to stay up out of their shit? You know, listen to what they say. To you, you know, look at, you know, examine our position. And why we're in our position, we're in the position because we too often we engage with them and we give them too much. We give them like, it's almost as if we give them some kind of high standings amongst us. You agree with that?
I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
We give them too much energy.
Yeah, we give them too much energy,
attention,
and we don't have to. Nothing, you know, with this God and this Jesus. I think it's what got us stomped. You know, I think that's what got us stomped. Not, you know, that glass ceiling. Oh, you can't go but this high. You know. You know, we have to examine, you know, like I said, examine that. Look at those who look like a kind of like a, to a degree, like us, similar to us, but they're not, because they're majority favor the white Caucasian. Look at how things are with them. Then examine. Look at the others. Look at the others. Because I feel like there was a lot more said in that statement with Biden. To me, when I heard that, I saw diverse. Okay, he can mean diverse also in color. You know, there's more Caucasian. There's more Caucasian Latinos. You know what I'm saying?
right?
A lot of them are turning white. They more favoring us black wise, but more of them are favoring whites. And you go to a lot of the countries, they tend to be colorists, you know. So that's something to look into, because there was very much a racist statement saying that we all stay black and they closer to our Negroids features, because once you go mixed, they no longer, they, a lot of times that kind of cuts off the blackness and they choose to be more Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? And huh?
I said, of course they do.
Yeah, and especially in our community, because we've been made to feel ashamed. And speaking of that shame, I wanted to get into what Akon had said. You know, I talked about Akon before on my channel. I talked about, I think I did a video, and I talked about how I didn't trust him, and that I think that he was harming his people in China, with harming his people with China, dealing and working along with Chinese people. And of course, it turned out that it's true. But, Africans over in Africa, they can't see that. They just see that in their minds, everything's good. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're so used to living under that thumb over there. It's normal to them.
You're right. And they never had to experience dealing with these Caucasians too much. Even though they had colonization, it still wasn't, a lot of them don't think it was bad because they can't see it yet. A lot of them are starting to see, so I can't say that.
Yeah, they are starting to wake up. I've noticed that.
A lot of them are starting to see and fight against colonization, but a lot of them still can't see. A lot of them still sleep, and they still give accolades to the white people that come over, and white people that they still can't get out of their minds that they connect to as a savior constantly, So I just think that it's a very sad situation on that. They can't see that the enemy is the one that they allow to constantly, come in, So.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it's nothing outside of us. It's nothing that's within us, but it's always this thing that's outside of us. And the Caucasian has made what is darkness itself to be that which should be feared. Just like he has made the gun to be feared. When you got where it's just an object, and the darkness is just there's nothing there that's going to harm you until there's something with the unbalanced mind that is put in there to harm you. It's usually the imbalanced mind that's the problem, and we're never going to get their minds balanced. Never. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically what he was coldly talking about was pretty much white supremacy, and how disappointed I guess he was that we probably seem like we're just of course it's going to seem like a monolithic thought that we prefer the greatest part of ourselves, which is the blackness. When you look at it deep, when you look at that, what he had said deeply, that's what he was meaning. And they want us to be pulled. They want to tug us along. They want to continue to be able to tug us along. And I'm just not for it anymore. I'm just not.
So you're sick and tired of it.
Yes. They want to, we're living in a conspiracy is what it is. We're living in a conspiracy. And they can't help but tell us, but they can't help but tell us, it's natural. It's so natural to them, so what they do, they end up telling us. And it's because they do feel that we are asleep and we're not aware. But regardless, we still have the gift to read them unconsciously, what they're doing, what they're saying, what they're thinking. And this is what I feel like God and goddesses do. You just, that. And And that's only because, we have pretty much, when you look at it overall, this world, we were the first on the planet. So we were the ones who pretty much created all of this. So there's really nothing anyways that they can do that we not know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Within their system, you know. And they're always like, um, what got me is how they um, tend to make us think that they're fighting like China, or they're fighting against um, over here with Assad. What's that country? Syria, or they're against. But they put majority of them in place. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's funny how they gameplay like that with us, and I woke up with Iraq. I woke up, I was aware with Iraq, you know. And then with Iran, I was clearly aware after that. And with
Wasn't you in the
Libya,
military? Wasn't you in the military when they invaded Somalia?
um, I don't know. What year was that? I was in from about, what year was that? Somalia.
This was like in the 90s.
No, I wasn't in the 90s. Not that old.
Oh, oh,
You mean 98?
yeah, somewhere around in there.
I just got in. I had just gotten in.
I think Clinton was in office at the time.
Yeah, I didn't get to serve under Clinton at all. No, nor did I want to. But I mean, if I had, I wouldn't have served under any if I knew. But I was like everybody else, just I was half asleep, I would say. I was kind of conscious.
Yeah.
If you came talking to me, I probably would have woke up early, but um, opinions, but because I was into a lot of things, but it's just, let me see. But they try to do these things secretly, and they, like I said, they try to be secretive. But like I said, conspire. But we're because we're connected to that higher power. As um, when you try to set apart something or try to conspire something, it's always gonna, like I said, it's always gonna be found out. It's always gonna have a way to be found out. Hmm.
So what else you got going on? Oh, it looks like you froze. Can you hear me, Light Bear? I think you froze. Or is it me? I'm going to drop off and come back up. Are you there?
DLD, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, my thing went down. It didn't even show that it was live. I was like, what's going on? I'm glad you stayed up there.
Yeah, I thought not to drop off because you did.
Yeah,
Everything would have been gone.
Yeah, but Akon, let me get into him in a minute.
Now, what did Akon? What's going on there?
Oh, what he said about what he said. Hold on.
Yeah, about what he said.
I forgot about sharing my link. Let's see. He said he was talking with Vlad and DJ Vlad, and he was saying about putting his thoughts on American slavery and stuff like that. Yeah. Did you not see that interview?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't know. I never trusted him. I never really cared too much about Akon like that.
Well, what did he say?
Didn't like how I know I really disagreed with him when he was dealing with the if anything, people in Africa are upset about Beyonce. They should be very, very upset about Akon. They should be very, very upset with Akon first. But I don't see it like that. I don't see them upset with Akon. I see them more upset with Beyonce when it comes to capitalism and how because he's definitely a capitalist, in dealing with China and all this in America. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what are you saying? What are you saying?
Well, what did he say?
Do you want me to play the video? I'll try to play the video. Okay. Let me see if I can get it. Okay.
Because I had heard something about it, but I didn't. I wanted to know what he actually said.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I don't know how that got on. Is that in my computer?
A lot of us are.
You must have another screen.
Oh yeah, I got another screen open. Okay.
Lies by these works.
Okay, I got it.
The winter solstice had, it's all about cold weather. The winter solstice has nothing.
Oh, okay.
With cold weather.
Okay. Okay, I had to turn that off. Dang. I was searching for something too. Hold on. They should be, they're upset about Beyonce, and I really don't get that. Why aren't they upset with Akon? All the things.
But let me ask, what did Beyonce do?
Nothing. She just did the videos of, connecting Africa. Black, Black is King, and people. I don't understand. Akon Vlad TV. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I didn't share it. I'm going to get in here for you.
All right, here we go. We have one of the great artists of our generation right now, who not only sold millions and millions of records, was responsible for bringing electricity to millions of Africans. And like I've said before, someone who I feel will be remembered more for their humanitarian work than all the incredible music that they dropped. Man, Akon, going back 15 years. Right. Always a pleasure when we sit down. Yes, sir. Well, we've done a lot of interviews over the years, but we've never done a real extensive sit down. So I want to get into the whole Akon story from the very beginning. So you were actually born in Senegal. Okay. Were you born in Senegal or the U.S.?
Well, this is how it is. Well, my dad made sure that all of us was in the States. He made sure we was all born in the States, so we had our citizenship. So shortly after birth, we all got shipped back to Africa. We was raised there until around 7, 8, and then we came back to the U.S. and continued grammar school in the States into high school. After that, but then every summer we would go back home, like literally every summer, until I graduated from high school.
Okay, so what was the experience like initially in Senegal?
Oh man, the experience there was actually, it almost felt like it was like stress-free. You know, we surrounded by family. Obviously, I was a kid, so there was no real responsibility to worry about, but we was always surrounded by people that love you. You know what I'm saying? Everything in Africa is pretty much family oriented. That's why I'm so close now. It's family. It was totally different about it. You know, the food there was fresh. Like we was raised by the community, so everybody felt like family. You know what I'm saying? Only difference is, of course, at that age, I didn't really know what amenities were. You know, because we didn't really have sinks. Drink out the well water, cook from the well water, bathe from the well water, drink from the well water. You know what I'm saying? Everything was well water. And as far as heat and electricity, it was bonfires, kerosene lamps, candles, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've actually spent a few weeks in the car in Senegal, and I live with family out there. And I can tell you the one thing that was so profound about my experience out there. Because although I was born in Russia, I grew up in the U.S. And growing up in the U.S. as a white kid around black people, there's always a certain tension I've always noticed. You know, like me and a black man that I don't know walk by the street, we look at each other and there's a little bit of apprehension and so forth. And I just figured, well, I guess just inherently blacks and whites don't trust each other, whatever else, until I went to Senegal. And when I went out there, I'm walking around and Senegalese meet me and they say hello, and there's this level of, there's this lack of tension, right? This level of friendliness.
It's acceptance.
And it's suddenly, it just blew my mind. I just realized that, like, racism isn't just something that's just natural. It's something because of the U.S.
Right.
The history of slavery, right, and all the horrific things that black people went through. Right. But when you go to Africa, where these people are at home,
right,
they haven't been torn out of their homes and had their last names changed and forgot about their, that's their history of race.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Towards white folks there, because it's kind of weird because they actually was taken from there and brought here.
Yeah.
And then when they got here, they experienced what they experienced. But they never really experienced that in Africa. Like, in other words, it's kind of weird because in Africa, the slavery he wasn't a slave in Africa. He was a slave when he left Africa. You know what I'm saying? Whereas later down the line, I think hundreds of years later, where they became these civil wars, neighboring countries coming in to take resources that create these wars amongst tribes. That's when the apartheid and all this other stuff start coming about. Whereas the whole divide and conquer issues that went on in Africa, that's probably the most they ever experienced when it comes to relations with white folks there.
Right. Because Senegal was a French colony.
Right.
Right.
It still is. Right.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, you can say it, but it's still.
Yeah. They still sell French bread, and they have like little French
flags. Spending French money. As long as you spending French money,
you spend French money. Yeah, Senegal.
Yeah, the CFA is moving on to French.
Aha.
Which, mind you, now, you can't spend that money in France. It's not worth it.
Oh, wow.
Get that fucked up?
That's fucked up. Right.
So that was one of the reasons why I decided to start it. So we can have
right. And I want to talk about that. But the one thing in Senegal, when it comes to slavery, is the island of Corée.
But
Island, one of the saddest places I've ever been to.
That's man. Listen,
I cried.
I don't think there's no one that ever walked out there with drugs. It's like when you hear the stories that happened on that island, the descendants from that island, the history of how that island came about, how they used to gather all the slaves and ship them from that point and that time. It's a powerful. You can still feel the energy when you go through the markets. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it basically was the slave distribution center of West Africa. Right. All the slaves would go and get put in these cages, essentially. You'd have cannons that surround it just in case someone wanted to steal those slaves.
Right.
And then all the boats from around the world, from Europe, would go to this island, pick up thousands of slaves, and then take them to America, Jamaica, South America, wherever.
Yeah, there was 2 ports like that. There was one in Senegal, and then they would go from there straight to Ghana. Ghana also has the same type of from there straight to
Isn't it just crazy in 2020 that the people actually did this? They actually just treated human beings like they were cows, goats, and
it's crazy. I can't even fathom the thought of it.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me go back here for a second. Okay. Okay, here we go. This is the part. Sorry about that.
Yeah. How do Senegalese really feel about slavery and what happened? Because, there were a lot of very foul people involved in the slave trade. There was, of course, Europeans, Jews and whites were involved, but Africans were involved in it as well. They were selling off their enemies, the enemy tribes, and making their money and so forth. Like, how was slavery really looked at out there?
Well, in Senegal, we've kind of overcome the thought of slavery. We don't even think. The only time we think about it, honestly, is when we're doing tours of the island. Outside of that, people have lived and moved way beyond the slavery concept of identity.
Right, because in Senegal, you actually know your history. You trace your family back 100 generations, whatever else. You still have your names, your real names. You're not named Johnson, Jackson, Washington, and all the other slave owners that were the presidents who had slaves during that time, Jefferson, and so forth. Yeah, but you guys actually have your history. That was the whole thing of walking around Senegal. People just felt, it was the first time I felt black people just felt comfortable and no type of disease.
I think it's also the art of just letting the past go and moving towards the future. And I think in the U.S. they have this thing of just not letting the past, blaming the past on every mishap or disappointment. And I think as long as you hold on to that past, it's just a lot of weight that you carry with you and go. And it's hard to move forward and move fast. You got to weight on the back, but it's got to let it go.
There's also been no reparations. There's been,
Yeah, but unfortunately, man, like, it's not like America is going to take the initiative to do it. I mean, otherwise, the Indians got reparations. The Jews got reparations for Holocaust, and it wasn't even done in America. You know what I'm saying? So
Italians got reparations.
Japanese got reparations.
Yeah.
It's just, it's to the point now where African Americans have to really understand their worth and realize that America was never or intended to ever, consult or even make up for any of that. They're not sorry. They don't care. It's obvious. So, do you want to stay here and continue to be treated this way, or just go back home, where you're now no longer the minority? You actually are the majority. You control your destiny and your future and your life.
Yeah, no. Honestly, every black person who has an issue with how people are treated in America, they really should go to Africa.
They need to. They just need to go.
99% of them have not.
I've never been there.
Yeah.
And they're super afraid to go.
A few of my friends, the Michael J. Whites have gone back, and, the John Sallys have gone back. People with money, what it means. But the average black person in America has no idea how dope Africa really is.
I'm telling you. Yeah. But I mean, America did a good job very much.
Well,
because I'm telling you, the moment you mention Africa, it starts showing.
I'm sorry. So what do you think?
I mean, what you tell me? What did he say that upset you?
Well, I don't think it really upset me. It really didn't upset me because I know that he doesn't, understand what we've experienced over here. You know what I'm saying?
But that's pretty much what he said, though, right?
Yeah. And I know that, you know, like I said, I'll take the power from what our people think these people have. The power that we think they have is nothing more than our power that we gave them. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, right.
You agree with that? Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, you agree. So basically, I just see it. He's kind of right about the part where we have to overcome, because sometimes I don't even agree with the transatlantic slave trade. You know, I don't agree on that. I don't think it happened the way they try to say it happened. You know what I'm saying? I think they may have been pirates, because that's what pirates were for, stealing ships and stealing people, you know. But other than that, you know, because how are the Caucasians in that time thinking to really, they couldn't even survive on their own. You see what I'm saying? So how did
pirates think that way?
Well, pirates were out there. They were stealing ships and stuff. That was their part of their survival.
Yeah, but they got to be stealing ships from somebody, right?
Yeah, they were stealing ships from us. That's what I'm saying. They were stealing us and kidnapping us. But I don't think that it went down like they traveled all the way like that to get us and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying that
I'm thinking that it was pirates, in between.
You're saying that pirates kidnapped what, a couple of million Africans who were.
Literally, when the first Africans came over here, it wasn't a couple million. It wasn't even that many.
Not the first one. I'm talking about in that entire period.
Well, but you got to look at it like this: where's the ships? Where's the ships? And
where's the pirate ships? You see, there's always a counter to that. Where's the pirate ships?
The pirate ships are being found that were sunk under sea. So those old ships are being found. But no ship like they're talking about, where they had all these people locked down in a huge ship. Nothing like that's ever been found. But old ships are being found all the time. Just not the big ones, you know, like that. Like they're trying to say, with people locked down, and you know what I'm saying?
So then, so then the pirate ships, did they have any quarters like that where people were being chained in? Or they're just on deck, just running around free? The Africans.
See, I'm talking about kidnapping. When you kidnap somebody,
when they kidnapped the Africans and they brought them on their ship, where did they put them?
I'm talking about they take over the people's ship. That's what I'm talking about.
They took over the ship, and then what did they do?
Then
and where did they put them?
They stole them.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. You saying that these slave ships they didn't exist?
No, I don't think they have.
Let me finish. Mm-hmm. Because none of them were found with the slave quarters at the bottom of the ship. Okay, fine. You're saying that Africans were sailing around and then pirates kidnapped them. When the pirates took over their ship, where did the pirates put the Africans at?
They didn't have to put them anywhere. They're just there, locked up, and they take.
That's what I'm asking you. Locked up where? Huh? Locked up where?
Wouldn't they be locked up in the ship?
Where? In the ship where?
It doesn't. I mean, it could be anywhere.
Listen, because if it's an African ship, African ships didn't have quarters to where you could put all these people at, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Wouldn't it make more sense? Okay, let's say an African ship had a crew of 100.
But they had. I'm talking about when they were trading ships, like trading, because that's all they found. That's all they ever had was those ships with cargo where you could put stuff in. So they would have to put the people down there.
Okay, so that's no different than a slave ship, right? When they chained them in the bottom of the ship, right?
not the way they built. They try to say the slave ships were. No, not necessarily.
So they just locked them in a room downstairs, took over this ship, locked them in a room downstairs, took them over to
wouldn't
America.
even say it's a room. It's not. It's the where they keep the stuff that they're trading.
Okay,
all that detail is not important, but
no, it is. It is important
because they built.
It is because you're trying to paint a picture that the transatlantic slave trade didn't go down the way it did. So I'm asking you if it didn't go down that way to explain to me how you believe it went down.
It's impossible.
You said pirates took over African ships.
Right.
They put them in the cargo bay. They put the Africans that they kidnapped in the cargo bay, and then took them over to America. So, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think that they built this elaborate ship. And I mean, it's just impossible. Where's the elaborate ship where they were able to put all these people? Where is that at?
Okay, then and I ask you, where is the pirate ships at? Where is the ships that the Africans were? Where's the ships that the Africans were transporting cargo at? Where are those ships at?
Those, I mean, you can find those. Those are probably still at the bottom of the ocean. I don't know.
Okay, but slave ships can't be at the bottom of the ocean, though, right?
They have yet to find that big, huge slave ship.
They have yet to find the African ships too.
No, they finding those ships all the time. They finding ships. They just
pirate ships, you said.
No ships. They find regular ships, but not the ship that they're putting in the school books, claiming that they brought a whole lot of Africans in, which is a lie because they only brought so many.
How many do you think they brought? How many do you think they brought?
I think, according to the records here, because the first Africans came here where I live, right? So let me look it up. They claim it was Jamestown, but it wasn't Jamestown. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm going to share this with you.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure. They're saying it was. I know it wasn't a large amount at all. Okay, at first it was like 20 and odd. They're saying captive Africans first touched. They're gonna make me subscribe. I knew they were gonna do that. Let's see, but they're saying let me see if I can get back in here. Let me see. So they're saying in Point Comfort, it was like 20 to 30 enslaved Africans that landed there. So it wasn't a whole bunch like they try to make out, because their ship.
Wait a minute, you mean on that first trip?
Yes, on the first trip.
What about those thereafter?
That first trip is what they mainly focus on.
Right, but what about all the other ship? What about all the other times? How many people were brought over at that time?
Don't you know how tough it is to travel? Can you imagine traveling on the Atlantic Ocean? The currents are rough. That's why I don't. I mean,
at certain times of the year. At certain times of the year, it is.
Yeah.
At other times, the currents are not as strong.
Mm-hmm. But
so it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense to sail when now you can't always, of course, but it makes sense to sail when the seas are calmer.
Mm-hmm. I just don't. I'm not trying to argue with you. I just don't think it went down as smooth as they're trying to make it out to be. I mean, there was a lot of people that died of diseases and stuff like that. There's no way. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't think they're that witty, to be honest with you, to pull off such things, I don't give them that much credit. You know what I'm saying, DOD? I just don't give it to the white man to have all that much to be able to.
But now the other day, we had this conversation.
Why didn't he put that energy of doing all that work into just building his own place up? That would have been more sensible. But you had to go. You mean to tell me you had to go all the way over there just to get somebody to get your glass of ice cold water?
But that's what they did.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you look at it, that's what they did.
Exactly.
If it was 20, if it was 2,000.
And to use your reprobated mind against. That's what I was trying to get at earlier. Reprobated mind. Reprobated minds is what you find in the dark. There is nothing that the darkness can do to you, but a reprobate can do a lot to you. So once you keened into your inner senses, you can't be touched by these reprobates. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't.
I notice how you switch topics.
Huh?
I know how you switch topics. I let you switch topics.
No, I don't give them that power. Is what I'm saying. They're reprobated minded people. I don't give them the power that they could really clearly think out to do it on their own.
Okay, but they did though.
So you believe your ancestors came up? You really believe your ancestors came on a wooden boat?
So no, you okay? So what you're doing is you're listening to the flat earthers, to the people that say the pyramids are over here, that the Grand Canyon was the Nile. I get where you're coming from, because I've heard them say the same thing.
But no, that's not. I'm not with the people that are saying all that mess. I'm not with.
But you're saying it though. You may not be with them, but you're saying.
I'm not. They got me on the boat thing. I just don't think that it. I've been on a ship now, DOD. I've been on a ship and I've traveled. The Atlantic, I don't care what season it is and you're on the Atlantic. You still got those currents. And those currents are harsh. But especially back in those times. The weather hasn't.
Okay, but right there, you're contradicting yourself. If Africans were still on their ships, they had to been sailing on the Atlantic.
I'm not saying that infinitively. I'm not just saying that was indefinite. I'm saying that that's a possibility that things didn't go down the way they're claiming. It's a possibility.
There's a possibility that a lot of things, throughout time didn't go down the way it has been recorded.
See, so that's what I'm saying. I'm opening my mind up to the fact that it could be another illusion.
I'll give you this. I'm like, Barry. It's a possibility that the Earth could be flat.
But that's
there's
one
a
thing.
possibility,
I don't harp over whether the planet is flat or round, or and it
I don't
doesn't.
either.
You know, none of that. That's white people talk. That's what white
Exactly. That's
people.
what I meant.
White people
Exactly.
concern themselves over stupid stuff. You know. Okay.
Exactly. Whether or
So
not the world is flat or
my
round.
mind is
I
way
agree.
bigger than that. I'm thinking about what to do with my freedom, and they don't even know what to do with theirs. They got it, and they don't even. They can't. They're worried about living. They're worried about having eternal life. They're worried about the wrinkles. They're trying to, these white women are trying to get rid of their wrinkles, fix their coochie, because they got a lot of other issues. They're
I
insecure.
agree.
They
I agree.
Karens out here losing their goddamn minds. Today, I heard something about Yellowstone. Yellowstone had some. Let me look it up. It's none of my. They're trying to explore planets and stuff to get out of Dodge. They're trying to.
But they're
Actually,
not moving fast enough for me. I wish they hurry the hell up.
let me use Oju's video. I'm gonna use another video to see what's going on in Yellowstone. I think he can put it out better.
We need to help them.
Only way we can help is through rituals. That's what was given to us.
And whatever it takes to get them the hell up off of this planet. I'm good with this.
But check this out. Check this out. Hold on. Let me share it. Let me share my. Okay.
Skywatch Media News for August the 14th, 2020. Over the past months and even years, there has been a flurry of big news events centered specifically around Earth sciences and the discoveries from space. And you would think that they would dominate the headlines. Unfortunately for us, many of them are pushed to the back burner by news conglomerates for reasons that may be conspicuous, but maybe not as clearly visible as we are led to believe. One of the bigger news stories that many of the leading tabloids have written about has to do with the ground activity that is gradually but consistently taking place within Yellowstone Park. For much of the first 2 decades of this century, seismologists from the University of Utah have been carefully and cautiously monitoring earthquake activity across the Yellowstone Basin, observing hydrothermal vents, and looking for indications of a ground shift or an uplift within the caldera caused by the movement of magma below the surface. Whenever there is an earthquake swarm taking place within Yellowstone's boundaries, and there has been quite a few of them over the last 20 years, it has a tendency to spark one's fears and emotions about this area and the dangers it poses, especially given the fact that Yellowstone is already overdue for another major event. We often hear in our news about the potential for a large eruption of the Yellowstone supervolcano. However, we seldom focus on the real threat of large earthquakes in this area, even though the risk from seismic events is much larger than a volcanic eruption, because they occur much more frequently. Earthquake swarms in volcanically active areas are not always indicative of an imminent volcanic eruption. But what it does indicate is that areas like Yellowstone have hidden dangers that can catch individuals off guard,
I thought somebody
as they did for visitors to Yellowstone nearly 61 years ago. On the evening of August the 17th, 1959, at 11:37 p.m., park geologists were confronted with an earth-shattering event when a 7.3 earthquake rocked Yellowstone Park. The movement of the earth was so intense
that witnesses claimed to have heard the grinding of plates. It was a deafening noise, much louder than the rumblings of thunder. The earthquake caused massive damage to the timberland and devastated Hebden Lake, Montana, located in Yellowstone's northwestern region. Witnesses recall that the ground was opening up, and their recollection was not exaggerated. The USGS referred to the earthquake as the worst on record for the state of Montana, dating all the way back to the year 1869. At the time of the 1959 earthquake, it was the second worst to have occurred in the 48 lower states. The event caused a massive avalanche of rock, soil, and trees, an estimated 28 to 33 million cubic meters of material, which descended down from the Madison River Canyon's south wall at nearly 100 miles per hour. It took less than 1 minute for the 85 million tons of rock to slam into the narrow canyon, blocking the river and creating a new lake that is now 5 miles long, 1/3 of a mile wide, and more than 170 feet deep. The earthquake caused 18 to 20 feet of offset on the surface, which can be seen today near the Red Canyon Falls. Summer homes situated along Hebden Lake sustained shifted foundations, collapsed chimneys, and broken.
Okay. You see that?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I don't think anything about it. What does
So
it have
they're
to do with it?
actually going to have a big, huge event probably soon there. But I was looking at about the moon, and I found that the moon, they don't really know how the moon was created or when, but they're thinking that when the Earth, hold on, let's see. Because we're expecting the moon to be to decease its in its assistance in living on Earth, in the life of the beings that draw life from it, So let me see if I can find what I was looking. I wish I had my history. Some days I wish I kept in history. Okay. Okay, here we go. Well, they're saying that there was a protoplanet called Theia, right? It was named for the Greek goddess of sight. And I think that they're saying that it collided with the moon. It collided with the Earth. I'm sorry. Theia collided with the Earth. Theia would be the feminine, and of course, the Earth is Ogun, the masculine energy, right? So it collided with it, giving birth to the moon, which is a feminine energy. The Earth is the moon is a feminine energy. Mm-hmm. And they say here, Earth's moon is an oddball. Most other moons in a solar system live way out among the gas giants, such as Saturn and Jupiter. The only other terrestrial planet with orbiting moons is Mars. Its moons, Phobos and Deimos, are small. And they're saying they likely were asteroids. They're saying that if the moon had came in from somewhere else, it would have crashed into the Earth. But that's just but um okay. Okay. So basically, let me see what that says. Okay. Do you want to look at the collision that they're saying formed the moon? I didn't know they actually had a video of that. And then we'll look into and then we'll look at the other thing about it too. Let me see.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought to yourself why the Earth, the moon, all these other planets, the sun are all perfectly round? All these collisions, they say, all these collisions that supposedly happen, yet everything is perfectly round. Even the video that you're going to show right now, I'm sure it's going to show collisions, but everything is perfectly round. Why wouldn't some of the planets be like half, like a half moon looking, but still a planet, but it's just a half of a planet because of a collision?
I don't think it's enough to. It depends on what they're saying is the rock from. Like it depends on the size of that too. Let me play this one.
So even when they collide with each other, they're round when they collide.
I don't know whether they round or straight or I don't know. I don't get into that. I just look at what
the video that you're about to show is going to show that.
I'm just trying to figure out, you know, what's going to happen with this moon that they're saying. Okay, let me say.
It turns out that if we didn't have a moon, or if we had a moon but it was just smaller than our current, the interactions with the other planets in the solar system cause Earth's rotational axis to vary by many tens of degrees on timescales of millions of years. This would have.
You're not sharing it.
Oh, I'm not? Okay, hold on. Let me get it. Because I'm looking up something else, trying to figure out where.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. It's not sharing it still?
Nope.
Okay, hold on. Oh, welcome, Zero. Welcome, family.
So in this way, the formation of our moon,
Repeat, Zero.
of our moon, of just the mass has had a very important impact on the evolution of the Earth's spin state, and with it, the evolution of our long-term climate.
You see it now?
I see it now.
There's a fundamental connection between our studies of the origin of the moon and the physical samples that were brought back by the college, the actual rocks from the moon. When those rocks were first studied, we learned several very significant things. One, we learned that compositionally, those rocks are extraordinarily similar to the upper layers of the Earth. If you look at an element like oxygen, its distribution of different isotopes of oxygen is essentially identical in the moon and the Earth, whereas it's very different in meteorites from Mars or the asteroid. Another clue, another constraint from the Apollo sequence is that the moon rocks appeared very dry compared to Earth rocks, almost as if they had been heated to a high temperature and that they had lost the elements that tend to vaporize easily upon heat. And that suggested to us that the process that formed the moon must have been a high energy event. So we think the moon formed when the Earth was struck by a very large object as the Earth was formed. So this would have been a separately formed planet that was vying for dominance in the inner solar system and Earth, other growing planets. But it collided with the Earth and ultimately was absorbed by the Earth and gave birth to our moon. So in terms of the impactor, which we often call Theia, we think that based on its mass, that it would have been as big as the planet Mars. Before it collided with the Earth, it would have had an iron core and a silicon mantle, like the Earth. And it would have had about 10% of the mass of the Earth. We think initially the inner solar system had maybe 20 small planets. And it was through collisions between these planets that we eventually ended up with our final 4 terrestrial planets. Now, the last of these big collisions with the Earth was the one we think formed the Moon. The reason that we focus on a Mars-sized impactor is that that is the impactor size. That if you hit the Earth with a Mars-sized impactor at an off-center angle at the expected speed, you will start the Earth spinning with about a 5-hour day. Now, that's a very rapid spin rate, but it turns out that is what is needed to agree with our current 24-hour day with the Moon at its current distance. The Moon is moving away from the Earth, so we know when the Moon first formed it was much closer to the Earth, and the Earth was spinning much faster.
Okay.
So the idea that the Moon formed by this giant collision with the Earth was first proposed in the mid-70s. And yet, we couldn't test the idea initially. For smaller scale collisions, you can perform experiments in the laboratory. You can't perform an experiment of what happens when 2 planets collide in any laboratory setting. To do this, you need to build a computational model to simulate the planets and their response to the collision. We can use our computer simulations as, in essence, a virtual laboratory to test how the outcome depends on things like the size of the impactor, and speed and angle, and use the overall results to assess the likelihood of forming a moon like ours. So we're simulating this final large collision with the Earth. From the perspective of someone on the Earth at the time, what you would have seen is an enormous object approaching many, many, many times larger than the fall of the sun. It would have hit the Earth at an oblique angle. On a time scale of a few hours, an enormous shock wave from the impact would have propagated around the entire surface of the Earth. The vaporized rock from the initial impact point would have been ejected out, and it would have flowed around the entire Earth. And the Earth would find itself enveloped by a thick atmosphere, but not like an atmosphere we know today. This would have been an atmosphere of vaporized rock with a temperature of more than 5,000 degrees. The momentum force of this collision is enough to start the Earth rotating very rapidly. And so only hours after this impact, the Earth has a rapid rotation.
Okay. Okay.
So every planet that rotates would have had to been hit just like that, just like she described.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That every planet got hit exactly the same.
Let me see.
If the planet is rotating.
Mm-hmm. Let me close that out. Mm. Okay, I'm going to share this one with you too now. I was just showing you on that one. I wasn't trying to say anything against what you're thinking or saying. I was just showing you what they're saying it looked like when the Earth collided. I'm not getting into whether the Earth was flat or does it make sense if it's flat. I could care less, just as long as whatever the ancestors predicted to happen or wanted, we're saying that what's going to happen happens. You know what I'm saying?
No, I understand what you're saying, and I know you're not arguing with me or trying to disclaim what I'm saying. I get. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, nothing they say makes sense to me. So I just have to try to we have to try to figure it out on our own. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I'm not even saying that. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Anything I've been told by these people. You know what I'm saying, DOD? It's just. So I try to figure it out. I don't. None of it. Hopefully this works. Oh. Hopefully it works. Okay. Can y'all hear it? It's kind of low.
It's really low.
Okay, it's getting loud a little bit. Well, just like I thought, because magnetism will go away because You see?
Yeah.
It's definitely a threat for them. Like when Russia, you remember when Russia went and shot something in space?
Right.
You know, they were all up in arms over that.
But I thought the moon was their friend, and the sun was their enemy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they weren't for sure what they were shooting at. They weren't for sure what Russia was shooting at. America wasn't, so they were concerned for it. Remember?
So they were thinking that Russia was trying to blow up the moon.
No, they don't know what they were trying to do, but I don't know what they were thinking. But who knows? I don't know. But let me see. Then there's another one. It's showing what would happen if you lost the moon. I think that's interesting. Let me see that one. This one.
The moon is a giant rock
that
lights up our night.
Not certain.
Hold on. I know. I'm very sure. You see that now?
Can even change colors.
Yeah.
What would we do without it? Would we all need night vision goggles? How would it affect the ocean tides, our seasons, or our sleep cycles? Or would the consequences be far more dramatic? This is What If, and here's what would happen if we suddenly had no moon. As the closest celestial body to our planet, the moon exerts a gravitational pull that governs much of what happens here on Earth. Take the sea, for example. If you like surfing, you can thank the moon. When the moon's gravitational pull tugs on our spinning Earth, the oceans respond, giving us high tides in some parts of the world and low tides elsewhere. And while the wind gives the waves their energy, tides define their shape. The moon's gravitational attraction also keeps us on a stable 23.5 degree tilt relative to the sun, giving us 4 seasons and a livable climate. But what if that livable climate were to suddenly become unlivable? With the moon gone, its stabilizing effect on the Earth's rotation would go with it. Want the good news first? The weekend just got a whole lot closer. If the moon suddenly disappeared, a day on Earth would only be 6 to 8 hours long. Over millions of years, shifting tides and their pressure on the Earth's continents have slowed our planet's rotation, giving us 24-hour days. But without the moon's strong gravitational influence, the world would spin 3 to 4 times faster than it does now. Here comes the bad news. Rotating at that speed, we would experience winds up to 480 kilometers per hour. Birds and insects would have no chance of survival. The luckiest land-based organisms would either be deeply rooted plants or very short, very stout animals. Most of our marine life would be wiped out, since sea creatures that rely on ocean currents for survival would lose the privilege of the ocean's pull. Currents help circulate vital nutrients from the ocean floor to the surface, while draining oxygen-rich surface water deep into the sea. We'd still have tides, but now they'd be governed by the sun, and from a distance of 93 million miles away, they'd only be 1/3 as powerful. And with the moon suddenly out of the way, the oceans would rip towards the sun, causing catastrophic waves, killing thousands, and submerging coastlines.
Wow.
At this point, we'd have to adjust to new ocean currents, which, circulating at a slower rate, would be heating up equatorial waters while turning polar waters frigid. These extreme differences would produce a similar effect on land as well, since ocean temperatures influence their regional climates. Along with the Sun, Mars and other nearby planets could also claim a share of gravitational influence over our planet, pulling Earth in different directions and causing it to tilt with increased volatility. Earth's axial plane would vary some 10 degrees, causing dramatic shifts in seasons and rendering our climate uninhabitable. Most crops would die with the drastic temperature changes. We'd experience the worst ice ages known to man, as huge glaciers from the North and South Poles would encroach upon the Earth, covering everything except perhaps a small band across the equator. So while full moons may attract werewolves, that's still better than an alternative world where the moon doesn't exist. The next time you look up at the sky, be glad it's there. Sleep soundly tonight. Surf's up in the morning.
So basically, things would go back to the way they used to be along, like about pretty much, I would say 40,000 million years ago, I would say. Before the moon was even created from Thea.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, they're talking about ice age everywhere else except for the band of stripped of the equator, which is Africa, right?
Right.
That tells me a lot. That says a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if there was no moon, there was
Doesn't that sound like the Armageddon that
that's
they've
what it
been
sounds like
talking
to
about?
me.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if they got any interesting. Ooh. This is a good one. This one was saying if the moon were replaced with some of our planets, I bet you that would be a beautiful sight to see the Saturn as in the place of our moon. What would you think?
I never thought about that.
Would you think that for that second when the moon exploded, then another moon came along, or we were moving closer to another place where there was another planet that would act kind of like a moon? Do you want to see that video?
Sure, let's see it.
Okay, let's look at that. Okay. Hold on, let me share this with you real quick. Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Wouldn't that be nice? That would be beautiful. Neptune, Uranus.
What about Saturn?
Yeah, they're gonna put it up there. I know. Oh, look at this one.
Jupiter.
I would love that one. There you go. You see it?
That'd be nice. Yeah, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm. But what's that around there already? Look how fast. My goodness. Hold on. I have to play that back. I didn't catch that. Did you catch how the cars were?
Yeah, they were just moving normally.
But it sped up a little bit. I guess that's just where that would have been beautiful. Oh, you know what? Let me finish sharing this. I'm sorry. So this caught my eye too. I'm sorry. It was beautiful. Okay. I would love to see it that close. Wow. Oops. What'd you think about that, DOD?
They're all interesting.
Yeah, you see, Saturn was real close.
Yeah. It was so close, it looked like the rings would be in our atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. But would we really see it like that? I don't think we would see them. So, yeah, you got anything else you want to talk about or say before we end out?
I don't even think other than this, but those last videos that you showed were interesting. I still would like to know how the Earths and all these other planets become so perfectly round after all of these collisions.
Exactly. Then that I just read something I was trying to find when it was talking about how I thought it was very important. I can pull it back up though. I was supposed to have kept it up, but I guess in my searching for different things, I must have got rid of it. But I thought I had. You know what? I can go back to my history and pull it up. I think what happened when I got knocked out, but I found it. Because it was saying something that was I can't believe I can't find it now.
It's not in your history?
It should be. Thinking I was let me see. Let me go to see if it's gonna let me. This is crazy. Let me go back to where I was looking at. Maybe I did push that one. I don't know. Maybe. So, what do you think about her Black is King? DOD. Maybe that's what I clicked on. Did I close myself out? He must have got locked out. Let me see. All the way over there. I see what happened. I see what happened. Okay, I was over here. So I go there. I'm gonna go to the other dimension. I found it. Let me share. Let me see what he says. Drop the link. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me see. Let me share the screen. Well, he's already come back up, I guess. I'll wait. Okay. Because I'm going to share. I found it. I was on the wrong page. So I'm going to share. Because I thought that they put it so perfectly, what they were saying. So I'm going to say it word for word. I'm not going to try to repeat it when you get up here. Okay. And then I'm going to also go ahead and look at the what they were saying about the Yellowstone, because they're saying something about Yellowstone exploding. So I'm going to look at that. I think it was down here, just to answer your question, what you were saying about the how are they perfectly round? How are they still perfectly round? Okay. Okay, I think it's here somewhere. Okay. Mm-mm. Let me do this again. I got all these. Maybe it was a Yahoo. You know, you get different results from different places.
Yeah.
It's looking like the same. Hmm. Let's see. I can't believe this. I was just reading it and okay. Hmm. Hmm. But the weirdest thing about it, it had more, it wasn't just talking about the word secret, it was talking about how imperfect, and it's talking about how the universe was, how imperfect the universe is created, basically. Let me see if I can. So I can, because it was around 11 something when I found that. So let me go. I'm trying to go back further where I was actually like, I had that up. And then I had to find that for you. But that was. And I can't believe I can't find it, what I was looking for earlier, what I had.
I'm surprised it's not in the history.
I know. Because what time did I start online? I started about 12, right?
It was 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 6 minutes ago.
It's about 11 something. Okay. But why is I'm just getting Joe Biden for 11 something? But I need to go back because I was reading it and I was looking at it earlier. Yeah, right here. Okay, let's see here. It was, but it's the same thing, and that was like. Let me go back to that cool history. It's almost. Okay, I think that's where I was at. No, this is where they took me to. That's not where I was at. Mm-mm. Hmm. I think I went too far. Mm-mm. I don't know if it was there. Okay, this might be it. No, it's still not it. Boy. And I don't think I clicked anything else to get to where I was at. Then again, I'm thinking that I. Let's see. Secret definition is that's why I was like, well, I can't find it, but that's what it was talking about. It was talking about how the imperfection of the universe. I just wish I was able to catch that because it was, damn, I'm so frustrated over that. And I know I didn't. You know what? I can go back on this if it'll let me. Let me see the secret. If it'll let me. I don't think it's gonna let me go back though. I don't think it's gonna let me go back. Okay, this one will. Secret. And that's probably where I needed to be. Let's see. But I was here and somehow, let me try here. Please. I can't. Okay, did I? I'm not even gonna. I'm not even finding it at all. It's just frustrating.
It just disappeared on me.
Huh?
It just disappeared.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it was very interesting information. But what happened to me is, like I said, I got to that area, and then this popped up about this book, this free 360 degrees of information. And I was interested, and I put my email in, and it gave me to this page, this book. And so I left that area where I was at reading that definition of the secret when I was trying to break down the word secret and come and find the original where it originally came from and what it looked like originally, how you pronounced it originally before it became the word secret. And it took me through, and I'm like, what's all this stuff got to do with that one word that I'm trying to deal with? And then it gave me, so I got a free book in my email that I got to eventually get to print out or read. But I lost another, some information that I really wanted. Let's see, make sure it wasn't. I don't know if I clicked on something else. I don't know if I clicked on that. Nope. Can't find it, DOD. I'll look it up. Yeah. Hey, Nook Nook.
You may run into it later.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, well, I won't hold you too much longer. You don't mind staying afterwards, do you?
No, of course not.
Are you in a hurry?
Keep me after class?
Yeah. So, with that said, family, true love, real peace, and the higher self within the soul. And thank you, Nuke, and thank you, Zero, for being here.
Peace, you guys.
Peace.